Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. So sorry to interrupt again, but we are starting our event. And so let me proceed to sharing our screen again. The first thing is welcome to our flower arrangement talk. Something different for this year. I think the last time we did some years back was actually gardening. So this is something more than that. That is the value added part or the final part, which is we actually get to enjoy the flowers. Okay, this afternoon, Stacy Chu is having an event, so she's required, her presence is required, and she's busy decorating some stage in some shopping mall. So she will try to join us if possible. But meanwhile, Annie will stand in to be her part-time PA. Okay, and so Annie will try to continue to have the show on. And if you have any questions, just stop and ask me. Okay, because there are only a few of us. So Judy, I think you're not the first one to join us. So I think you're familiar with CBC and the CBC events. And okay, introducing our speaker and our demo teacher, Miss Stacy Chu. She has her shop at Subang Square Shopping Gallery. You can see her things are filled. Her shop is filled with things, yeah. A lot of flowers, a lot of accessories and pillars and cards and fruits and what have you. Okay, so was a pleasure to have just stepped into her shop for about 2 hours where I got to do a bit of video, and so I'll be sharing that video. And Stacy speaks in Cantonese, so let me see. Oh yeah, so we are talking about tips to create a floral or fruit basket. The first important thing is what is the purpose of doing this floral or fruit basket. What is the purpose? What is the intention? Because with that, then only we know how to make an arrangement, the floral or the fruit basket. And so normally we give such a floral or fruit baskets for people who are celebrating their birthday, as a present for somebody, as a person for recuperating, for leaving a company or for welcoming a company, for prayers, for meetings, and what have you. Okay, there are a lot of events, but because of the intention, that's why we have to decide. We have to see from the outside to the inside. That means from the outside, we visualize what do we want to give. Okay, is it a basket? Is it a hand bouquet? Is it just just a bouquet or just a basket? So we have to identify the base. All right, and then we have to identify what kind of flowers we want to use, what colors we want to use, and then the fillers, what sort of leaves, big leaves, small leaves. We want to identify what kind of ribbons. Do we want to use lacy ones, satin ones, plain ones? Do we want to use what type of wrappers? Is it paper wrapper, cloth wrapper, or whatever? There's so many things we can actually buy from a flower shop. And then, of course, we want to use certain cards, a greeting card. And then, of course, also the big item like we want to add on with fruits. What sort of fruits? Or chocolates or teddy bear or any stationery item or even gold bars if you want, if you're giving to somebody like a loved one. So okay, there is something here in this slide. It is called the Oasis Floral Foam. It's a sponge. Okay, so this is one of the important thing which Stacy has stressed to me. When we do a bouquet, everything is held up by this sponge, okay? And so because of that, we have to make sure we get a good one. Why? Because when we get a good sponge, the flowers will live longer. The flowers will be able to stay fresh longer and will not die off or dry off fast, okay? Why? Because this brand, Oasis, is a very good brand. And there's a technique of how to use it. Okay, everybody open up your ears. Okay, the sponge is not just you just throw it in and put some and soak up water and then that's it. No, what happened is this sponge actually must be a very good sponge. That's why it is very absorbing. And not only absorbing, it retains the moisture. So this brand Oasis is a highly recommended sponge because it is very, very effective and very good to have longer living flowers, in our basket or whatever arrangement. In other words, all right, if we know how to treat this sponge properly, the flowers, when we give to somebody, will last longer, look fresher, longer. Okay, and that's important, right? Right, ladies? Right? Can I hear yes?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So it is so important because that's the whole purpose, right? Some people will say, don't waste money on the flower basket, or don't waste money on the flower you give me. We go and makan even better, right? Makan 80 ringgit, 200 ringgit budget. Why you can makan banyak-banyak already. But the flowers probably last for about a week and then have to say bye-bye already, right? But then again, there's a reason for the season. And sometimes, it is appropriate to give flowers. So whatever we like it or not, still we being ladies, as I say, we love to receive flowers from somebody or from ourselves, all right? From ourselves. We make the flowers for ourselves. So again, the Oasis Sponge or the Oasis Floral foam is good. Can buy from Stacy in a shop if you wish. And the reason why she say this is good among all other brands is because it can retain a lot of water, so the flowers will last longer. But how do we make sure the floral foam has a lot of water? Okay, in order to ensure that the sponge is fully 100% soaked with water, this is the technique. We put the sponge into a pail of water and we push it in and let the sponge naturally absorb the water. We do not do anything else. That means, in other words, we have to leave the sponge inside the water until it's fully absorbed. And how we know? It goes right down the water. When it's really down, that will take maybe at least about 2 hours, depending on the size and all that, because as you can see, that original shape is like that. And, we have to cut according to the size of the basket. So whatever it is, the smaller the sponge, of course, the faster the water will go in. But the bigger the sponge, it will take more time for the sponge to totally have enough water, right? So again, we have to make sure that the sponge really have 100% water, and we have to leave it in the pail for a long time, okay? At least 1 to 2 or maybe more than that hours. Okay, so I asked Stacy, I said, what if we want it fast? We just throw in and then we, wet it and then we just take it out after that. So the answer is, well, if the sponge does not soak in enough water, you will have pockets of air inside. And when you have pockets of air, that means it's not 100% soaked with water. Then the flowers and whatever else we do in the basket will not be able to live longer than the time we want. Yeah, because water is very important. When the flowers come in a basket, the only water they really need is actually the one in the base, which is in the sponge. And other than that, I think when we just spray a little bit on the outside, it just helps a little, but the important one is the heart, the sponge, right? Okay. So other than that, well, of course, this tip, the Oasis brand sponge or floral foam is one of the most vital thing for the living of the shelf life of the flower arrangement. Okay. So other than that, the rest are all dependent on us, the creativity, what things or what decoration items or what gifts we want to put other than that. So here you are. Look at all these flowers. Okay. Can you see this middle one? This one was received by my mom 4 days ago. See, the flowers are all so big. It's all fully bloom and big, right? But okay, the rest are done by Stacy. So you can see this one is a fruit basket. So one side flowers, one side fruits. And if we look at this one, again, it's mixed with all different flowers. And this one also, you see, it's got a gift box. It's got flowers, and it's also got fruits. So again, you see, it all depends on the size of the basket. if you want to put in more things, the basket has got to be bigger. All right. And I noticed these days, a lot of flowers say they got berries. So I was quite surprised, berries. And you know, they are fresh berries. I mean, people can use artificial, but these are fresh berries and they also dry up just like flowers over time. Okay, and this one in the video, I didn't know what it was. She called it posy posy, and I spelled it wrongly in the video. But so this is it, POSY. And these are little baskets which are put for a round table arrangement. Okay, and this is very cute. Okay, pay attention to this flower. It is very rare, and it's called, I think it's called carnation with sunflower carnation or something like that. So it's all in the video, and you know, we're going to move on to the video soon. But before that, I just want you all to get yourself relaxed and be enticed with the beauty of the different flower arrangements here. So yeah, even though we don't get any flowers today, but you see all these beautiful flowers, I hope it cheers you up as well. And like the Cantonese say, what's that? Saingana. Chuchi mata. Chuchi mata. Okay, so hopefully we get to, I mean, our soul and our heart feels good, right? When we see such things, we put us into a happy mood, light mood, and that's good for us. Good to be, you know, when we get this kind of thing, we feel happy. Okay. Can you see?
Hello everybody, I'm Stacy here. Nice to meet you all.
And flower, two-tone flower, carnation 嚟㗎啦。
Carnation.
This is a two-tone carnation. Two-tone carnation. 呢個係咩花？又係 daisy， 呢個 daisy。
Daisy，嗰個 white color lily。
white color lily。哦 ，OK， 呢度有3種花，then 又有 yellow peacock。
Yes。
yellow peacock，then 你又有個 berries，你又有 ribbon。Pussy
Pussy flower。
Pussy flower。
Pussy 即係個圓嘅咯，圓揼揼嗰啲，佢哋叫 Pussy 咯，都係咁樣啦。
呢個係 for table decoration。
round table 嗱，好似嗰啲人哋嗰啲食啊嗰啲嘢地方。
喺中間㗎啦。
round arrangement 咯。呢啲係平嘅 arrangement 啦，你呢個都好間人插啊 ，chrysanthemum and rose 咯。
邊隻呢個 chrysanthemum 啊？
呢啲係 all chrysanthemum。
哇！
呢張 chrysanthemum。
哦，呢個 chrysanthemum。
This one is baby carnation。
Okay, baby
Baby carnation,
rose.
This one is cassia。
Oh, cassia。
this one also chrysanthemum， but it's sunflower type。
好少睇到呢個。
呢個好少嘅 yellow peacock 咯。
yellow peacock， pink color rose。
Yes。
chrysanthemum 啊。
Very simple。
係咯，好靚。
如果呢個咧又唔同咯。呢個又唔同咯，呢個比較大咯。
係咯。呢個呢邊睇唔到花，你嚟到呢度，哇咁多花喺度喎！呢度頭先睇唔到喎，你睇咁靚喎，咁多花喎呢度。
我呢邊都要擠 cloth 落去。
哦。
比起靚啲着裙啊嘛。
着裙啊？好靚，好好聽。
我幫你轉。
呢個好多花係因為大啲位，多啲位。
多啲會係貴啲。你要擺隻貴啲。
我擺出嚟貴啲。
大張嘅，我幫佢分四。
呢個叫咩紙嚟嘅？呢
個包花紙嘅 cloth 嚟嘅。
哦 ，cloth 嚟嘅。
好多顏色啊！
又係 flower wrapping paper 啊。
平嘅，嗱你睇冇佢可以咁樣折。折一個平嘅，折中間，折咗成縮去，睇到嗎？縮去咁樣碰碰。
哦。
跟住你是但有嗰啲 stem 㗎嘛？擠落去。就你封貼住。哇！一定要貼實佢啊！實落去唔喐。
呢個又可以做一個花，1 inch，
兩個。
做兩個 ，OK。
因為我做一個呢度，一個後邊就夠啦。
又係咁樣
鋪大咧，佢就最少都要4張。
哇，又好快哦！自己做咁樣又可以 fill up 個位哦。
Okay, one piece here, 睇到冇？咪靚啊！睇啦，喺度塞 here， 塞啦，呢度空啊嘛，我冇俾你睇到啲 plastic 啊嘛，睇得唔靚咯，所以我遮過去。Just that。
係咯，嗬。好靚。
好似如果 rose 係咪？做咩我要擠個 net？因為你交咗俾人，佢正 open up， 你係 bloom up。OK。可以硬嘅。
呢個 net soft net for 咩嘢啊
？For wrap 嗰個 fruits。
for fruits。soft 有佢嘅好處嗬。
比較冇咁硬啊嘛。
係咯。你買白色又可以襯咩色？
呢個係 cream 茶嚟。
cream 嚟㗎。
呢個我而家準備啦，我未整。我教你整 ribbon。
Just 愛 make sure 實淨咯，hold 啦，愛 firm 咯，咪走咯。
有 finger 呢個你捉好實。如果冇係咪？你會散咗。
走細咗。Magic stick 啊
？Magic wire。
Magic wire。你用唔同色啊，唔同 colour 啊，而家。
佢呢個係 for 我而家send 呢個係咪？佢係 funeral 嘅。funeral finish 咗，佢有一個 prayer。then 佢哋 just 送俾你哋咯。
邊隻呢個3隻呢個啊
？5個。
係一個 prayer 咁樣啦。OK。
3個。
呢個叫咩 fruit basket 啊？
又係一樣 fruit basket 嚟嘅。我擠到差唔多先，我哋綁上嚟啊。我用呢個。
係咯，愛幾長啊？呢個 net 嗬
？net 啊 ，net 我哋係佢嚟嘅嗰個紗布，我係 standard 嘅。跟住有多正剪嘅。如果你幾闊咧，你就睇咯。
呢個係叫 standard size 嚟㗎呢個。
係啦。你睇你個 basket 幾大啦？你個闊位嘛。呢個係唔係好大嘅 basket 咯？所以我哋用個位咧綁住佢先。
幾好啊！綁喺嗰個 handle 啊。所以都 secure 開咯。
綁咗之後，我哋就擠咯，好似呢啲啊，好似嗰啲 flakes 啊，我哋就要排咯。慢慢咁樣排上去咯，因為冇一陣佢會跌啊嘛。先綁咗一部分先。睇到呢隻啊？有時啲散嘅先擠。
佢哋細細嘅輕輕嘅啦。
擠佢咁樣成個咯。
哇 ，fill up the top 啊！
Okay, next.
Alright, so this pretty much completes the floral arrangement.
From my days, baby breath is always the magical teeny weeny bits that bring the little, I mean, it's tiny, but it brings a lot of joy because it's like so sweet, so how do I say, like so fragile. Huh?
Baby's breast is so delicate, it's like baby.
Yeah. I mean, it's so tiny, so delicate, right? But it sort of bring a lot of joy, you know. It has got a special touch. It's so small, but it seems the effect seems to be bigger than the big roses and all those big flowers, you know. Just because it's so small. I use the word delicate, right? Normally, the sponge is put in a basket, so like a little pot, a little plastic container. So with that, then of course, the water will never spill as long as it is vertical. And some bouquets that I receive, they normally hold the plastic, which has that wet sponge or the floral foam. They hold it with some tiny wires. So a lot of wires also are required to hold things in place, to even hold the flowers in place. So some flowers, the stem is very, very limpy, limpy. They don't have a strong backbone. So they need the tiny wires to hold them and to keep straight. And then there's this, they call it the magic, it's not magic stick, it's a magic, what a magic string. The one that can bend, very flexible, you know, and it can really use it. You can use it, really use it to hold the flowers, hold the ribbons, hold the wrappers, and things like that. So yeah, a lot of things we can recycle. And you know what I like best? You know the plastic stick that comes with if let's say you receive some flower gifts, there's a stick where it holds the card. There's a card, right? That stick I normally collect. You know, you know what I put? I put my touch and go card there, and I ping. Linda has the what 10 ringgit one, right? Also very, I know that one is the proper one. Mine is not proper, but it serves the purpose without buying anything. Yeah. So anyone has any questions about today's did you learn anything? Can you tell me any feedback, whether you learned something?
No,
Without the real
interesting.
seafood here,
No, it's interesting. It's interesting to know how they decorate the flowers in the basket. So it's something that we know from the the beginning of it lah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I forgot to add is that normally, like the Ikebana, they always have the L shape. So either in the middle or somewhere on the left or somewhere, normally on the left or right, depending we are left-handed or right-handed, or somewhere in the middle, there's the highest flower. So normally we do a backbone, isn't it? There's a framing, you know. In doing any bouquet, we have some visualization as to how we want the design to be. Some parts have to be higher than the others. That's where you get the different the highs and the lows that will create the character of the bouquet of flowers. Just like we human beings, right? When we talk, we cannot be talking straight all the time. Otherwise, people go to sleep. We need to sometimes talk higher and sometimes talk lower, right? So same thing with the flower arrangement. Some are higher, some are lower. So it gives some body and some character to the whole flower arrangement. And how high and how low and the shape and all that, we have to visualize. Most of them normally go like 90 degrees. And so the starting point is always like the highest one, yeah? The highest flower, you stick it first, and then from there you slowly fill up and fill up. And it's amazing, right? Like the second video, just by putting all the flowers in one vase will really make me so happy, right? But to cut it and put it into that basket gives a different effect. More work, yeah, and then creativity, but it becomes something else lah. So then again, it depends, you know.
No, that's why I say I'm here to learn.
I have tried flower arrangement, but not in the big deal. Okay, whenever I receive flower bouquets, I actually keep everything and I recycle them. But I seriously, because I don't, I'm not a flower arranger. So what I do is, I don't mind the whole chunk of flower stalks put in a vase. I'm also very happy already.
That's exactly what I do. That's why I want to learn from today's what to do.
Yeah.
You have an idea, you know, roughly how to go about doing that, you know. Yeah, and one of the thing I know is that I want to ask is that sometimes when we receive all these flowers, do we actually need to, you know, spray water and so on? No, sometimes we take off the bouquet and put it in our own vase. You need to change it every day, or if it's still in the bouquet, do we need to keep adding water? Because I don't know whether the sponge used is the Oasis sponge or they use the ordinary sponge. So do we actually need to water it every day? That is the question I need to know.
Okay. I can't answer on behalf, but my opinion is when I see the flowers start like not so fresh anymore, you know what I do? 90 degrees, cut at the bottom a little bit, and then change the water. So the other thing is some people, they straight away throw in an aspirin into the vase of water, aspirin or Panadol inside the water of flowers. So that apparently will help to increase the shelf life of the flowers. But that is if they are in the, if you just get the flowers and you put them in a vase of flowers. But in this case, the bouquet, by right, they should be able to last at least 4 or 5 days. Some flowers like the orchids can last even longer. So again, it depends on what kind of flowers they use. But as I say, I like to recycle things. So those days when my husband sent me the flowers with green leaves, I actually planted them again, and they're still living today. They're not like abundant and all that, but I got from 1 pot to 2 pots. So those are the green ferns. So these are the fillers, and again, I was asking about the berries. I was asking Stacey, hey, can I grow the berries? The berries, the fresh berries, leaves. Stacey said cannot. cannot grow again. So it looks like there are many flowers that we cannot replant them. But sometimes if you want, we can try. So I try in my garden to grow different leaves and floral plants, so that if I need to do any flower arrangement, I've got some homegrown ready made flowers available. But most of the time, my roses and all like recently blossom a lot. Maybe because of the hot weather outside, but it's so seasonal. Most of the time I don't get flowers, I don't get anything. So so what we need to do is if you want to learn to do it, we have to go hands-on, we have to practice. So when you receive bouquets of flowers, you can actually keep back the sponge. Maybe I think you can recycle it again, because all you have to do is just throw it back to a pail of water, make sure it's all well soaked. If it's not Oasis, it's okay. It's still a sponge, but it's just that the flowers may not be able to live so long. And, we just need to know what the flowers we want to use. Of course, I think like roses will be the ones that cannot last long. But the good thing about roses, and roses especially, you can dry them up and use as dry flowers, right? So that's again the second phase of the usage of the flowers, that is, it became dead flowers and we can still use it again. So, but others like carnation and all that, I think once it's dried up, it's time's up. We have to dispose them all. And some even smell, so we cannot afford to keep them longer than its shelf life. But like Stacey, she uses a lot of even the green plants, those plants with big leaves. So even one shoot, one stem with the big leaves is already enough to cover up take up a lot of space already in the basket. So it all depends. But at least for me, I've learned about using the proper sponge. I've learned about the different names of the flowers, especially the cassia, the yellow peacock. I actually didn't know these flower names. So like this time, at least I take note of the names of the different flowers and the fillers. And then I learned about the wrappers, how to make them look so soft and so, how should I say, so soft and so filling. They fill up the basket, so it looks nice. Like what Stacey said, dress up the basket. So yeah, those are interesting things, especially using those, she call it the fabric paper, fabric fillers. So that's something interesting I learned. And then about the magic twister, right? The one, the flexible one. Yeah, so I'm sure there's so many things that we can use, as long as we go to a shop, a floral shop, you can get so many things. Up to you how you want to decorate it, right? Always very nice to be the receiver, right? the recipients of such gifts. Yeah. Anybody wants to say something else? Linda, are you going to send me a bouquet of flowers?
You have a lot of those recycle one. You send me one, ma.
I got to put to practice what I learned, is it? I saw your
Yeah,
check.
put
You have to
into
leave
Linda.
already.
Ask her to put into practice what she has learned. Okay.